The Notaries Unsealed podcast is brought to you by the Notary Success System and Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions. Coming up on this episode.
If I don't do research on something, or if my wife hasn't done research on it, I'm not getting into it.
And everybody thought I was being mean and this, that, and the other. I was like, oh, that just was telling you this is what the law says.
The #1 notary in Garland, Texas.
One of the things that I can never, ever, ever go cheap on is toilet paper.
Real smooth this time. We know Notaries Unsealed. This my everyday life. Yeah. We know Notaries Unsealed. Every day I hustle out here living it right. Let's go. We know Notaries Unsealed. Put the stamp down and stop in front of the mic. Here we go. Took the game over. We home now. We soldiers. Griff, Mathurin, and Q, the podcast. You can't hold us. Y'all heard the word. Y'all heard the word. Griff, Mathurin, and Q. Yeah,
What's going on, Notary World? Welcome back to Notaries Unsealed. I'm your host, Quentin Smith, and I'm joined here with my two friends, Seben, Griffin. Say what's up to the people, man.
Hey, what's going on, party people? Man, Griff here as always.
And Ismael, Mathurin. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, folks? Hope you guys are doing well today.
All right, gentlemen, how you guys doing today? You had a good, solid week so far?
Yeah, everything was good for me. Good signings, all of that kind of stuff. Made the money that I needed to make.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a good week. I can't complain. You know, we have the busy one and we have the slow week. So, you know, we're just rolling with the punches up here.
Well, I'm glad that you guys had great weeks. My week was horrible. I'm going to be completely honest. It was slow. And I know a lot of you guys out there are experiencing slowness in your businesses right now. Those weeks are tough, but you know what? Monday's tomorrow. Again, we told you guys last week we record on Sundays, so Monday's tomorrow is a brand new week. I'm fired up. I can't wait to get out there. I did some marketing this weekend. So I can't wait for us to get going for this upcoming week. And another thing that I'm really excited for is today we have a guest. Now this gentleman, I first noticed him on Instagram, and then he joined us on a all men's panel that Seben Griffin, Griff on YouTube. He hosted a Zoom call for us, and man, this guy was just so sharp, and I was like, Griff, man, we got to get this guy involved. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Gannon Harris of Rush Hour Notary out in Garland, Texas. I mean, that might be somewhere close to the Cowboys or something like that. Nobody care about that. My man Gannon, what's up, man?
What's going on, people? How y'all doing today? I hope everybody's productive and, as I always say, securing the bag and doing your due diligence. It's your man Gannon Harris, the owner of Rush Hour Notary, the #1 notary in Garland, Texas, home of Dallas, Texas, and the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, nobody really cared about that, Gannon. So thank you for joining our podcast. I was really excited when you agreed to do this with us. I think all of us were kind of like in agreement, like, yo, this is the guy, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, Gannon, that's my man there. He is so smooth. He's on point. He knows what he's talking about. He's educating people correctly out there. So yeah, he's a guy that you need to listen to.
Yep, the only notary I know in Garland, Texas, y'all. I don't know nobody down there in Garland, Texas, but that's my guy. You know, I had the pleasure of hosting him on the Mathurin Business Insight. Great guy. You know, enjoy. He's very knowledgeable, professional. So great guy overall. So I'm glad that you're on here, my man.
Hey, I'm glad to be a part of it, man. Appreciate you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You're a great person, and a great example out here for notaries. Like I said, I see you on Instagram. A lot of folks see you on Instagram, but we do have people that listen to us that aren't on Instagram. So can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and what's driving you and where you're getting your success? Because you're definitely getting success. It's out there. I mean, we see the reviews. We see you at the hospitals. We see you driving. We see you doing your thing. Tell us about your business a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, my business really got birthed. It started from the name for my business, Rush Hour Notary. It used to be Rush Hour Catering.
Oh.
That's where my business, my name came from. This my catering business got started in about, I believe it was like 2013, 2014, somewhere around in there.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that was a business that you really have to break ground on, you got to have all your ducks in a row when it comes to catering and cooking food because, let's be honest, a lot of people don't trust everybody's cooking, even though, you can be the cleanest person in the world. I used to be a butcher. I was a butcher for 10 years. So, why not take that, trade that I have under my belt and apply it to being a caterer, being my catering business. So, long story short, my catering business didn't take off like we had expected it to. It was me and two other partners of mine that went in and started that business. So it didn't take off like we wanted it to. And, hey, one thing led to another, man. Time passed on, and my wife gave me the idea of becoming a notary. I was looking for something else, to add some, extra income, another stream of income under my belt. And so that's, I was looking for a name, something catchy. And I thought, hey, wait a minute, why not? Let's rebirth this again, and let's make it Rush Hour Notary instead of Rush Hour Catering. I said maybe we'll have better success with the name, and maybe it'll catch on and people will remember that name. That's basically what happened. That's basically how I got started. And in 2018, Rush Hour Notary was born. I took it and, did my research on becoming a notary before I took that next step into becoming a loan signing specialist or a loan signing agent or what have you. And, I really honed in on my general notary skills before I became a signing agent. And I took it from there, man. And it's been, I took it from there, and I haven't looked back in that rearview mirror unless I'm backing up into a parking spot.
No, man, that's pretty awesome. The whole concept of rush hour, and that's hour without the H, right?
Yes, without the H is RUSHOUR Notary.
Yeah, man, I love that because not only does it signify, and with Captivated, I talk about logos and business names with people all the time. Your business name, it captures what you are, and that's a notary, but it also elicits an emotion of rush, rush hour. Like it lets people know that you're going to get there on time, it's speedy, and it's the type of service that you're going to want. And I love the business name. It's awesome.
Exactly. And it's not like, not to take, to be misconceived of anything. Like I'm not going to rush through, your documents. I'm rushing to you to take care of your documents, to take care of your notarization and execute your documents in a timely fashion, in a, professional manner at all times. My motto is one signature at a time, one stamp at a time. That's the only way. That's the rush hour notary way.
Yeah, man. It almost signifies mobility also, because when people hear rush hour, usually what they're thinking about is sitting in traffic all the time. So you're already letting them know.
In traffic.
You're already letting them know, I'm sitting in traffic coming to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, my success is, I've been, I'm driven by the success that I'm seeing right now. Just, with honing in on my general notary skills, I'm an advocate for general notary work because I feel like that's one thing that people need to know before they take that initiative to take that next step to being a loan signing agent. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know the terminology, the lingo. You have to know where to sign on what documents, where to have the borrower to sign, the whole 9 yards. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be lost in the sauce. You're going to be lost out here. That's just the bottom line. And that's why it took so much time to perfect my skills as being a notary first and know what I'm doing so I can know what I'm talking about before I try to relay the information to somebody else. And, they don't, they get the bad, they get a bad connotation from me, and I don't want that because, I want my name to hold weight. I want, when someone, comes to me and asks me for mentoring, whether it be mentoring or just questions in general about, how to execute a particular document. I want to be sure that I'm, leading with the best intention possible and relaying the best information, the correct information to them all the way across the board.
That's awesome, man. Well, you're doing a great thing. Let me ask you something, because this is, being on social media and starting to get a following. Is this something that's kind of new to you, or you got people that are reaching out? Or is that?
Yeah, I've got people that reach out to me all the time, man. That's, just looking for guidance, looking for mentorship. I notarized the guy's documents about 2 weeks ago, man. And, He's a truck driver. I'm gonna introduce him to y'all. He just started following me, and he wanted to get some mentoring, man. And he called me, and like a week after I notarized his documents, he was like, "Man, I really felt what you were saying about about the notary business, and I want to partake in that, find out what I need to do to get started." So I told him what to do. I told him which way to go about getting to obtain his notary commission. He did that. He got his notary commission in the mail. I think it was last week. And when I told him just be patient. You get the rest of your supplies and everything once they send you your stamp, and you'll get your notary commission in the mail from the Secretary of State. And once you do that, once you get that commission, I'll come and I'll administer the oath to you and notarize your commission, and and then I'll start mentoring you. But yeah, I do have a lot of people that reach out to me. I feel like when you lead with proper intentions, when you lead with the best intentions possible, that people are just naturally gravitate to you, just like they do with Griff. I watched a lot of videos I watched a lot of YouTube videos of Griff's before I got started, along with other people. But Griff really stuck out to me because I feel like you can kind of get the right vibe from people, whether you're being around them physically in person or if you're virtually. I got a good vibe from Griff. I felt like he was leading with the best intentions possible, that he was putting out the right information to really lead people in the right direction, really lead new notaries in the right direction. And I took all the time that I needed before I got started, and then I just started executing my goals, man. And it's just been a domino effect for me, and everything just started to fall into place. Like, you would not believe, man. My phone started ringing one day. I went from not getting any calls to 2 to 3 calls a day, 4 or 5 calls a day, where I'm on vacation, my phone is still ringing. So it's been a blessing.
That's awesome, man. And that was such a great endorsement. That was completely unscripted. That was a genuine endorsement for Griff. Just in case, you have guys in the notary streets over here that Griff's never, given anything to the notary community. I just want to say, that thank you, Gannon.
Oh yeah, no problem.
We appreciate you joining us today. I'm sure that we are going to be having you on again. So our listeners, get used to hearing Gannon. We also have another guest that will be joining us on a semi-frequent basis as well. So we will unveil him in a couple of weeks. I got a new topic for us to talk about. I think we've talked about it all except for with you, Griff, but we'll do that off the microphone. So today's podcast, we're going to be talking about something that is not directly affecting the notary world, but it is kind of indirectly in a lot of notaries that are out there. And we wanted to kind of get to this while it was still fresh in the news, so that way we can kind of discuss it amongst ourselves and share, our thoughts on it with you guys, just because, not everybody is having sensible conversations about these things. So I think it's good for everybody to be able to just hear different sides and perspectives of some of the things that we're seeing today with the government. I want to take this quote from the President Joe Biden recently, and this is in regards to the post-pandemic business loans that came out. He recently just extended the investigation time from, what was it supposed? I think it was supposed to be 2 years to now 10 years. So what he said was the American people deserve to know that their tax dollars are being spent as intended. My message to those cheats out there is this: you can't hide. We're going to find you. We're going to make you pay back what you stole and hold you accountable under the law. So this is a very bold statement, and it doesn't sound like the government is playing about this. And I think some of their actions that they've taken recently kind of really back this up about these cheats. But before we actually start discussing that, Griff, can you tell us a little bit about the initial installments of the PPP and kind of why this has hit the news and why this is an issue?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks, Gannon, for the endorsement. Appreciate it. That tells me that what I was doing, the way I was running things and still running it, did the positive impact on somebody like yourself to carry it out and to show you the proper way to help other notaries out and all of that. So I appreciate that. So with the PPP, it started off, we started in the pandemic in 2020. And one of the main requirements was that you had to have a business that had filed taxes in 2019. So your business and everything had to been done in 2019, and you had to file taxes. I believe it was your Schedule C, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. That you had to get from your accountant. And what was happening, people was running to accountants or any kind of tax person and telling them, start me up a business. And then they was creating fake tax returns on this business for the year of 2019 and saying, oh yeah, we just filed it late. Here it is. And that is what started a lot of this stuff. So in 2020, there was people talking about the, PPP for notaries. And I was the one of the few people that was really sort of talking against it from the standpoint, if you just started your notary business in 2020, how can you be applying for PPP based on what you did in 2019 when you haven't even filed taxes for 2020 because 2020 isn't over yet? And everybody thought I was being mean and this, that, and the other. I was like, no, I'm just telling you, this is what the law says, the criteria. So they found out that a lot of people was doing that. And one of the other problems was accountants were doing it. Accountants was calling their clients up and saying, hey, that business that you said you wanted to start, you about to say, well, let's go ahead on and throw one up. And what the accountants was doing, they was getting a piece. So they was getting people 10, 15, 20K and saying, just pay me $5 and you keep the rest. So for somebody who didn't have $0, wasn't getting anything, they was like, all right, I'll give you $5. If you can get me, I can take home 10 or 15. Yeah, you can have $5, and that's what was happening. So the accountants was in on it. Then you had the regular consumer that was in on it. And they started finding out that these people didn't really have a business whatsoever. And then they was like, okay, we're going to have to crack down. And that's part of the start of it.
I got you. And it kind of looks like from some of the reports that are out there that the way that this happened, because you would think that there would be some types of stopgaps to make sure that that they could track the funds that were going out, but it wasn't. It looks like the Inspector General blamed pressure to make the payments quickly for the Small Business Administration to, trying to get those out as quick as possible. They lowered their guardrails to prevent fraud. So they kind of just opened up the door for fraudulent activity.
That is correct. And yeah, they wanted the money to get out. Plus, they thought people would be honest, but somebody always finds a loophole, and they found it. And all it takes is for one person. And that's why somewhere along the line, they started publishing the name of the people who received PPP money and the amounts that they got. So my wife herself, she was able to get the PPP money, and she wound up qualifying for the forgiveness. But it was because her business, Sharpen Your Skills, was established already and was doing business in 2019, and we had the proper tax paperwork. Now, the reason why I didn't apply for it was because in 2019, I was working a regular job.
Right.
Along with doing notary part-time. So I was like, there was no need for me to do that. So I was like, I ain't going to worry about it. So I didn't mess with it. I saw no need at that time for me to do the PPP. She needed it. It worked out great for her. And I was like, cool. But for some of them other folk and my accountant, which y'all see me do interviews with him, he said people was coming to him trying to get him to do that little sneaky stuff. And he told him straight up, no, I ain't doing that. That's why I love Rob Turner, professional accounting and income tax.
Yeah, Rob's cool, man. I like him. Mathurin, what's your take on the PPP, man, and what we're seeing right now?
Man, look. So I had a lot of people who reached out to me regarding the PPP loan when it initially came out. And it was a lot of, new account for people that I was not following. They noticed that I was a business, and they were just making this out to be like the holy grail loans. You know, hey, if you work with me, just like Griff was saying, if you work with me, I'll get you qualified. You know, I'll get you some, you know, you'll just have to pay me this amount. But, you know, as always, if I don't do research on something, or if my wife haven't done research on it, I'm not getting into it because I have no time to get caught up out here. You know, just because folks trying to make some easy money and they are taking advantage of business owners that are not aware of the rules. My whole thing is with the whole loan. Look, it's just like you have to know about, you have to live within your means. And that goes into business aspect as well. Like, don't go out there trying to get a $10,000 loan, knowing that you did not meet the requirement. You're not able to pay it back if they say, hey, we need the money back in 6 months. And you were just trying to do it because everybody else is participating in it. Like everything else, you have to do your research. You have to know the ins and outs of what you are signing, what you're getting yourself into, or if there's an interest rate, if there's a repayment plan, anything like that. But I feel like when they first came out, everything that was going on, people were just trying to look for relief, but at the same time taking advantage of the relief that was given. I read some articles, some guy in Atlanta, you know, had a whole bunch of money he was spending on cars. So it's like
you start seeing stuff on the timeline like, oh, I got my PPP, and then a week later you see people with like lobsters and shrimp and all types of stuff. Oh, you got the PPP and went and bought some seafood. Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So you have to understand that you have to live within your means, even in your business. Know what you can and cannot afford. And, you know, and always do your research. That's, you know, and that's one thing that I'm always going to stretch on. And look, if you can't afford it, don't get it.
I hear you. Gannon, how did you feel about the PP loan when that thing dropped, man?
Man, me personally, I think it was a way, you know, for you know, it was something that was, you know, a lot of people were looking for a quick come up, and knowing good and well that they don't have a solidified business, you know, and like you just said, Mathurin or Q, you know, people doing all these crab boils and eating seafood and all this. You wasn't doing all of this 6 months ago before all of this came out.
Exactly.
You know, I think it was a way to see who was going to do what, and to, you know, a way to get the scammers out of the way. Because I saw a lot of people, you know, and even on social media, man, it was crazy. You know, I saw a lot of people saying, hey, do this. You know, come, you know, if you got this type of bank account, then I can get you approved for this. You can get approved for this PPP loan. You don't have to pay it back, this, that, and the other. So, you know, I think it was a big way to entrap people, really. I mean, that's just my honest opinion, and people get caught up in it. And, you know, that we're not doing things the right way, you know, from the jump. And you're just looking for a quick come up, and, you know, just not a lot of people, when they got these loans, they were not doing the right things with it from the green light, doing a lot of, you know, unethical things, man. And I mean, at least if you're going to get the loan, I'd say at least at the most, at least start a business from it, you know.
No lie.
And, you know, don't go out here buying all this Christian Dior and Louis Vuitton and all these Birkin, or trying to buy a Birkin bag and red bottom shoes and all of this. And, you know, man, I mean, people, like you say, like Mathurin said, you know, live within your means. You know, don't try to, you know, if you're not bringing in enough revenue, and you know, the revenue that you're bringing in, you're spending out more than you're bringing in, you are really living above your means.
No, you're right, man. I remember seeing people on the timeline, you know, PPP loan came in. Next thing you know, they're taking a trip to DR, come back with a whole new body and an OnlyFans page. Like, what? That is not the type of business they were talking about.
Exactly.
But, you know, one of the things you got to keep in mind, the people, if they didn't have good money management skills from the get-go, that's why they did what they did. They didn't know what to do with their regular paychecks, and then they lost their job. They really just did the same thing that they normally would do. You know, so here you are getting a half a year's salary or more in just a few weeks, and it's like, okay, what do? go and blow it. And that's why I always tell people I love the one YouTube channel, Minority Mindset, because he talks about having the right focus on how to manage your money. And I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, all you really had to do was get the money and sit on it. Just sit on it. Just sit on it for a minimum of 4 or 5 months.
Throw it in an IRA.
At least 4 or 5 months, just sit on it. Get a feel for what's going on in the economy. But, see, then okay, if you really think about it, part of the problem is the educational system, because a lot of people are saying, well, why these young folk don't know how to deal with such and such? Well, what have they been taught from the last crisis of 2008 till now? Nothing. Everybody knows the crisis went on, but nobody really either talked about it or taught, TAUGHT, what people need to understand and how to avoid it. They're just going around saying, don't do what they did in 2008. Well, the people who are now getting taken advantage of or taking advantage of the PPP money and getting themselves in trouble, they was kids in 2008. So if their parents got jammed up, their parents ain't going to be, they too embarrassed to tell them what went on, or they just didn't know. So now they become a grown up at 28 to 32 years old, and all they see is this free money, and life been hard for them. Why not take it? And everybody from the housewives, from the house husbands and all that saying, get that bag. And they're not showing them the correct way to get the bag. That becomes a problem. They're saying just grab whatever you can, but they don't show them good money skills, because all you see is all these celebrities, especially celebrities of your particular racial group, just spending money left and right as if it's just there for the taking. So when they start getting, I got 20K, shoot, I'm about to party it up. And then next thing you know, that 20K gone in one weekend.
Something interesting about that. I'm glad you brought up, entertainers, especially like rappers and stuff like that. What a lot of people don't know is that those entertainers, they're given money specifically for photo ops. You have to think about that. The record labels give them money so that way they can be photoed spending money. Let that sink in. And also with that money, they're not allowed to purchase assets. That is a stipulation to their contracts.
That is correct.
Right? So they're given this money just to put on a show for us, the consumers, that this is the life that they should be striving for. Right? But hey, Big Brother government loves you, because not only did they not educate you, they just knocked off $10,000 from your student debt, saying, we're sorry, we didn't teach you how to handle your money.
Yeah, and now you got the extra money to pay back that PPP money.
Right, now you got the extra money to pay back.
So like we say, they're going to get it from you somehow. Or we'll cut it over here because you still got the interest to pay on that student loan. But guess what? You got to pay that 10 grade back. So since you got it, might as well go and cough it up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's the entire student loan thing that's going on right now, because I've been watching it. I've been keeping an eye on it, because I do have some student loans and stuff like that, but I just been keeping an eye on it to see what exactly they're going to ask, because there's no such thing as free money. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot believe that there is no such thing as free money. I feel like maybe 6 to 8 months from there's going to be some type of stipulation that going to be required for that money to be paid back. Or just like you were saying, that hey, we give you this amount of money now, a couple of years later, hey, this is what we want for payback. So there's no such thing as a free money. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on it just to see how everything goes.
Mathurin, you going for like a double, triple doctorate, so you're going to have some loans for a while.
No, man. I think I am all set. I'm all set for now, man. I'm just going to be focusing on the businesses just to see what's going on. Like I enjoy the notary, but I love real estate. I feel like that's what's going to get me to the next level where I need to be at.
Hey, man, it's a good thing you said that. I mean, that's going to be my next move, man, is dabbling in the real estate, man. I think that's the ultimate exit plan right there, man. notarized or been notarizing some documents, doing some loan signings for this one client of mine in particular. Man, this guy's bought up so many properties within the last 2 months. I think he's buying a property in Lubbock. But man, I just the feel that I got from having a conversation with him the first time I notarized his documents, did his loan closing. And the second time he told me, he said, yeah, if you want to get into it, he said, hey, I'll mentor you and show you the way that you need to go. So that's the ultimate exit plan is to dabble in real estate, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. It is a great source of income, but just like with everything, if you have a mentor, I highly recommend it. Just learn the ropes. And if you ever, if you need help, you can always reach out to me as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
I'm going to have you on speed dial anyway. But yeah, nothing is free. Nothing is free. That term BOGO, buy one, get one free, you paying for it in some kind of way. I don't care what nobody says. That's just a sales tactic that a lot of these companies, retail stores and everybody uses to attract people, to get people in to come and buy. It's just like with the TikTok trends and everything that we see with the dance moves and all of this and the Michael Jacksons and whatever, all this gyrating that they're doing on TikTok to try to get people to come in to purchase the courses to become a notary, to learn how to become a notary. You can go to YouTube University, man. Let's be honest. Like Griff said before, if you want a mentor or need a mentor in your life, go to my YouTube channel. You got everything you need right there. And that's basically what I did. I didn't have to pay Griff to get mentorship from him when I first started. I mean, I just went and learned and took it and applied it. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is correct. So, the government has to do something to show the people who are paying them, that's backing them, the other wealthy, that, hey, look, we know that fraud went on. We're going to get them. We got to show everybody, because let's just say something down the road and things repeat itself and everybody's like, nah, this PPP money will never come back.
I think that's what the thought was.
Just like they didn't think.
I think that's what the thought was. They missed that last part of the PPP, and that's loan. You know what I mean? It was a loan. Right. That means we're coming back for it.
Absolutely.
Correct. And what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if they're setting the stage that if in the future, 10, 15, 20 years from now, the economy takes another hiccup and they got to institute it again. Because people were saying, oh, no, they'll never have the interest-only loans. They'll never have those ninja loans again. They'll never have, just the robo loans. Getting sort of close to it. They never thought this stuff would repeat itself. But when you look and study the industry and just our economy, it's repeating itself over and over again. And if things get to a point where they say, okay, we need to do something to stimulate the economy, on one end it did, but it just got into the hands of some of the wrong people. So how do you stop, or at least let people know that you shouldn't have done this? Okay, let me go ahead on and institute some kind of punishment so that if we do this again in the future, we already got a mechanism in place to deal with them. Because as we said in the beginning of this here podcast, they didn't have the mechanisms in place. So how do they go about testing it out? By implementing it now and testing it and see how can we track down and punish the people who did wrong, so that when the time comes back around again, if we do have to implement this, and if it is 30, 40, 50 years from now, we have a blueprint that the future political leaders can implement to keep this from happening.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know what? It's a scary thing to think about, but I mean, let's be honest. We haven't been educated as a populace, as a whole, and that it don't matter what race. I ain't talking about races right now. I'm talking about as a people. We haven't been educated on money in general. Certain people go to college and they're able to pick up on some things. But I mean, if you just get down to the basics of how we get our money, we are destined to be in this situation for a very long time. For every dollar that the Federal Reserve produces, there's already a tax on that dollar. And that's just going to our government. I think it's like a 6% tax, or it might be a little bit more than that. But for every dollar that's produced, the United States already owes money on that dollar. So before you even get the dollar, you're already in debt. It is a system that's designed to Gannon, why did you go put that? Seriously? So y'all can't see this on the camera right now, but y'all should already know, like, I religiously wear my Eagles hat. My man didn't have a hat on. Okay. He did not have a hat on. He did not start this podcast with a hat on. He just stepped away from the camera and came on and had to show up with it. I'm about to shut my screen. No, it's all good. But he really just went on and put a
pettyologist, man. I gotta be petty.
Oh, you can be petty, Eddie, all you want to, because I'm gonna be every Sunday. I'm be here. How Dak look? Huh? How many times Dak get sacked now that they lost Tyron? Huh?
We're going to see what Jalen Hurts going to be doing. He might be hurt before playoffs. I don't wish that on him. I don't wish that on anybody, but we'll see how those little feathery, little dirty birds, or what y'all? Oh,
at least I know that my team, it comes down to one player. We're right there. We're a player away. We've got the roster. If it's Hurts, that's not good. He can go. We'll get another quarterback. Y'all are hurt. You lost like 11 starters and only replaced like 4. All right. Like, we're good. Anyway.
Now, you know, somebody trying to make up stuff, trying to do football splaining when they're like, yeah, we just one player away. So wait a minute.
That's right.
This multi-million-dollar franchise. Can't find that one player.
That one player.
Where are they located?
It's crazy.
Where are they located?
Make our team. We're going to the playoffs.
They're up there. Where they at? Q up there, Broad and Alney, up there at LaSalle College, down there at Temple University. I'm like, where is this one player? Everybody all we just one player away, and I'm like. And it takes 20 years to find that one player.
You know what? Let's get off of football and let's bring this back to the business world and to our world, because a lot of people are really one grant away. They're one loan away from getting their business on track, right? And like you were saying, Griff, the government had to figure out how would this go if this is where we're going to be, because yes, you're right. We are going to be in this situation for a long time. This isn't the first or last time that this is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. And so what they've done is, and I don't know if you guys were aware of this or not. I saw a stat out there that said in the next 5 to 8 years, 50,000 IRS agents are going to be retiring. 50,000. Like, this is these agents are from a whole generation. Between 5 and 8 years, that's a generation of people, of employees that have been working with the IRS. And so what they did was they came out and said, we're going to go ahead and approve a budget to hire 80,000 more. We are going to approve the budget to replace this loss in workforce that we're getting ready to have, because guess what? We got work. We're going to catch all these people.
Yeah, plenty of work to do. Well, there was this thing on small business administration. I'm not sure if any people are aware of it. They were saying that, the PPP loan has an interest rate. And I'm not sure, I believe it was like either 1 or 2%. But even that, if you, just like we were talking about, if you end up getting the loan and you was not managing your finance properly prior to getting the loan, even that, if it is 1% or 2%, that's going to add up over time. And it goes back to knowing your business, knowing the in and out of your business. What is it that you need versus what is it that you want? A lot of people get into this business, just business in general, and they don't even take the time to market research. They don't even take the time to understand the true value. What is it that you are trying to do? What is your plan for the future? And getting caught up in these loans here, it might help some folks. Like, don't get me wrong. I know there are some people out there that's probably received the loan and put it to good use. But from what we've seen, the articles that we've seen, a lot of people, and I'm going to say this, within our community, are doing the worst with it, because they don't know how to properly manage these type of funds. And just like we were saying, they're getting these bags, going to the club, having cranberry, like, every weekend.
Bottle service,
going to conferences.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
So you have to know how to manage your funds. And it's like, I know it seemed like the basic stuff, but unfortunately not many of us are educated enough. And this is why we have to be willing to network with other people, be willing to share ideas and read. Grab a damn book, read Finance 101. And that's going to help you out. Trust me.
Okay,
That's a downfall for a lot of people, though, of our culture is financial literacy.
You're right.
You know, a lot of people don't, like you say, don't know what to do when they get an X amount of dollars. Have never been taught about, you know, credit hacks or what have you, or just how to manage money. Period. Some people take the dollar for granted, you know, and it's sad because it's a revolving door to keep you in a box, keep you in the same situation. Now you get all this money and then you go mess it off in one walk, and you don't have nothing to show for but a Louis bag or some red bottom shoes or memory, something that's in your memory bank from 6 months ago or 2 years ago, or you partying hard at the club, and now we did it up big that night. And, okay, and what is it doing for you now? Is it able to feed you now? Is it able to clothe you now? Is it able to keep a roof over your head? So I mean, at the end of the day, man, it was just a way for, like I say, for people just to splurge and say, oh, I got this bag, I secured this bag, I did this, did that, and oh, we turned up, you know.
Nah, I hear you. And you know, another issue, and I'm glad you brought this up because we see the same issue in the notary world, is like you said, you know, financial literacy is a problem for people within our community. But here's the issue. If you don't have the knowledge, and it's not been something that has interested you for quite some time, or it's never really been your thing, when you start hearing information, you know, if you're new to it, you don't know what is good information and what is not good information, right? And when you come into a situation and you're desperate, you know, we often look at these things in times of desperation. You're not seeing things clearly, and you know, the first person that says something that sounds better than what you know for yourself, you're going to go that route. But that might not be the best route for you to go, right? But when you're coming into this, you don't know that. So, you know, this is where having the network, doing your own due diligence, you know, finding out who the leaders are in certain industries, you know, whether it be credit repair, do your research. You can find out how to repair your own credit for free. It's out there. All right. You know, there are things that you can do for that. And don't get caught up in the first person that you hear. You know, once you start hearing the same thing from some credible people, you know, then you kind of know, okay, I may be on the right road, but there's still more for me to learn. Don't just stop with your first teacher.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the other things is we have this big thing in the notary community of all the meetups, all the get-togethers. Now, people probably say, well, Griff, you sound hypocritical because you go to them. I go to them to speak, to share some quality, good information to help notaries out. Because majority of the meetups are about how to grow your business and market. And I try to deal with just the core thing of being a notary, because if you don't have that part together, then you're not able to make money. And one of the things that's not really talked about is the financial side of the house. However, everybody wants to know and brag about how much money they're making, but nobody wants to sit down and have a conversation on how to really budget it. You know, and I'll say this real quick and I'll be done. One of the biggest issues that people keep clamoring about is that they want to get travel pay for these loan closings. I'm like, okay, if you convince them to pay you a fee for travel, far as I know, if they're paying you a fee for your gas, then you can't claim the 62 cents a mile tax deduction. That's double dipping. And then they looking like, oh, you can't? I'm like, in what world do you think that you could have somebody pay you for your gas mileage and then turn around and you claim to the government that you drove these many miles and you need to have that as a tax deduction? You can't do both. But these are the discussions that we're not having at these meetups, and that's what we need to have. Back to you, Q.
No, Griff, you're absolutely right. But for right now, we're going to leave this conversation where it stands. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, guys, make sure that you hit up Gannon on Instagram. All right. Rush_hours. That's OURS_notary. Go check him out. Follow him. Great dude. But we're going to hit to a break right now.
The Notary Success System is the notary industry leading face-to-face loan closing training on the market. You are actually conducting a mock loan closing with a full set of loan closing documents. At the end of the training, you will have the confidence to conduct any loan closing you are assigned. Go to notarysuccesssystem.com and choose your date and time. Peace.
Do you need a little help advertising your notary business? Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions helps you better build your business locally. It's the only service we offer. Created by founder Quentin Smith to assist other notaries be successful. We offer affordable solutions like unique custom logos, premium digital ads, and multiple options to help you build your social media presence. Visit us online at www.captivatednotaryms.com. Subscribe today and get captivated.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Notaries Unsealed podcast. Again, you're here with me, Quentin Smith, Seben, Griffin, Ismael, Mathurin, and our special guest today, Gannon Harris. Guys, say what's up again.
What up, folks?
What's going on now?
All right, and you guys heard from our sponsors, the Notary Success System and Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions. So our next topic that we're going to be discussing is kind of a fun one. All right, so I brought this up when we initially thought about doing this podcast, and I'm really excited to be able to talk about it now, especially because we have a special guest. So I think this is going to be real cool. What we're going to be talking about, guys, is items in your daily lives that you cannot go cheap on, right? So the item that really brought this to mind for me, and I have this conversation with people all the time. Like, if I'm over at somebody's house, you know, this is something that I love to talk about. One of the things that I can never, ever, ever go cheap on is toilet paper. Like, I can't buy single ply toilet paper. Like, think about this, right? So I had gone over to a friend's house one time, and, you know, everything was cool. I was like, hey, let me use your bathroom. Bet. All right, so I go to use the bathroom, and lo and behold, single ply toilet paper. And I just,
the worst.
It absolutely is the worst. But it's not only the worst because it is like nothing. And when you go to wipe yourself, I would hope that you wrap that thing around your hand about 5 or 6 times so that way you can get to that quilted double. Whatever, we're not going to get into that. But this person didn't have antibacterial hand soap in the bathroom. So my nose turned up instantly because I just thought about it and I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, you got single ply toilet paper and you don't have antibacterial. I can't eat at your house. I excuse myself, man. And you want to know something? The relationship was strained for a while and the relationship actually ended up breaking because I have to question, and this is just me. Y'all might be a little bit different. I might be a little irrational, but bruh, if you got single ply toilet paper and you don't have antibacterial hand soap, your food is, that's nasty, y'all. That's nasty. Just think about it. Just, you know what? Don't think about it because you'll probably be disgusted next time you go to McDonald's and you see that. And yep. Anyway, enough about that nastiness. What about that's one thing. We got more things that we're going to be talking about, right? Because there are more things for us to talk about because there's a lot of things that we can't go cheap on. Mathurin, tell me what's one thing that you can't go cheap on.
Man, one other thing I cannot go cheap on is trash bags, man. Look, we have a lot, between, let's see, about 5 of us. And, I'm one of those people that likes to clean. Like, I will clean all damn day if I have to. But, when that trash bag get full, you don't want that cheap I was always gonna cuss. You don't want that cheap behind brand from Walmart. Especially, that great value brand, it's not always great. You gotta get yourself some sturdy trash bag where you put your stuff in there, man. You don't have to worry about it leaking. If you're going down the stairs, you don't have to worry about it ripping up or anything like that. But I feel like the trash bag is the number one thing right now that I can think of I cannot go cheap with.
Wait, Gannon, I got a question. Not Gannon, Ismael, I'm sorry. I got a question for you. So when you buy trash bags, right? And this is for everybody. Do you buy with the drawstring, or are you one of the people that like to tie the 4 ends? What do you prefer?
Look, I used to get the 4-in one. Now I'm getting the drawstring ones, man. Look, I don't have time for that, especially now that I have my son taking out the trash more often now, part of his day-to-day chores and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, as long as the trash bag is sturdy, you tie that bad boy up, you take it downstairs, and you go outside and just do your thing. But don't call me if there's a rip.
Right?
I need you to put some gloves on. Just go outside and get some work done.
No, I feel you on that. I think I'm a little split. So if I'm buying like heavy duty bags, I definitely want to have that drawstring on there. But you know what bothers me about the drawstring? And I'm glad you mentioned your son, because my son, same principles. Man, the drawstring broke. Right? When that drawstring breaks, it's a wrap. And him being an inexperienced trash taker outer person, he doesn't really know how to manage that, and that means that he has to call me to do it. And that's the whole purpose of him doing it, exactly. Right? So that little drawstring, man. Like, I like the drawstring, but it's got its cutback. It's its setbacks as well. Gannon, what do you think, man?
Man, definitely. I can't go cheap on trash bags either, man. That's just one thing that I can't do. But another thing I can't go cheap on is laundry detergent.
Oh, that's a good one.
Laundry detergent and fabric softener, the fabric sheets, the static sheets. I can't go cheap on that. That's a pet peeve. Man, it's either Tide or Gain, but preferably Tide, because you just need a few drops of that Tide in your laundry, and right. It's a wrap.
So you don't do pods. You don't do the Tide pods. You do the actual liquid.
Nope.
Okay.
No. I do the actual liquid, yes. For some reason, I don't know. I haven't been a big fan of those pods. I don't know what it is. I'm weird like that. I've tried it before, and it didn't float my boat.
They're weird, man.
It wasn't for me.
It's like putting a gummy worm, a gummy bear or something.
Yeah,
It's like, y'all, this is really supposed to. Yeah.
Even those little, what do they call that stuff? Those little beads that you throw in your water.
Those are even more weird.
Yeah. You know, like little,
like bath salts.
Little Nerds candies or something.
Yeah, like little bath salts that you're putting in there. Like, how is this supposed to work?
Look, those little beads actually work. Like, don't get me wrong now. Like, I still use it with my laundry detergent. Like, I just add it in there. I just add it in there for extra, but like, I don't know how it works, but I just know the clothes be smelling good.
What kind of softener do y'all use? Like, I'm very partial to Suavitel. Like, I sing the song like that's the smell of Suavitel. Suavitel, Suavitel, Suavitel. I sing the song every time that I smell that thing, man. I love Suavitel.
That's the one I get.
Yeah?
It's really nice.
No, I don't use no fabric softener. I just put a whole bunch of extra shea butter on my skin, so if it's dry, if the clothes are too rough, it'll just be nice and smooth up against my skin with that shea butter on.
Griff is old school with it.
You're old school. He's like, I wash my clothes on stones.
That's right. Wash it on stone, washboard, let it air dry, pants be nice and stiff.
Right?
Get that laundry line in the backyard,
Hey, Griff, what can't you go cheap on, man?
Man, the thing that I can't go cheap on is really two. I can't go cheap on an iron and a vacuum cleaner.
All right.
I got to have me a top quality iron. If it's not, I'm talking about like $50 or more for an iron. If the iron ain't $50 or more, I ain't messing with it. And what I do to keep it lasting is I don't use tap water. I use distilled water. because distilled water doesn't have all those minerals in it that's getting boiled off. That's why you have that little white stuff running down. And I would say in the last 6 years, I'm on my second iron. So I would say the iron that I'm on now lasted, is in its second or third year. So when I started doing that, and I forgot who I learned it from, but once I learned that distilled water doesn't have all those chemicals in it, and I started pouring it in there, I was like, oh man, and it just makes your irons last long, even the cheap ones. And then the vacuum cleaner, I got to have a top quality vacuum cleaner. No cheap vacuum cleaners. I want the Dyson and all of that, but you don't necessarily need a Dyson to clean your carpets, and do your vacuuming and all of that. But, that's just two things off the top of my head, but there's a whole lot more stuff that I be having that I can't go cheap on, in my everyday life. But those two right there, iron and, vacuum cleaner. I will spend some money on those two.
Yeah, I feel like any heavy use household appliance you should be spending a little bit of money on. I think that's one of those things where, you make the sacrifice and you say, all right, if I'm going to spend the money, let's spend the money in the right place and get something that's going to last us for some time. Versus let's just buy it for right now. No. That is the wrong way to handle those household appliances.
Yeah, not only that.
Absolutely right.
So not only that, I'm talking about another thing that I've come to realize that I can't go cheap on, and that's all thanks to my wife, is a good old mattress, man. Look, she was telling me about different, because she have experience as far as like in customer service. She knows all about different type of furnitures, what they're made of, everything like that. To me, as a guy, look, I just need a mattress. I just need to lay down. You know what I mean? But she started getting into the quality, the different type of Tempur-Pedics and all type of stuff. Now, I remember this one time we went to the store, we got a new mattress. I'm like, damn, that thing costs what, $4,500? So like, it's worth it. I'm like, damn. All right, cool. Tried it out. Came home. Yo, some of the best sleep I ever got in my entire life. And now it's like we've had it for a while now. Like we on. Let me see. We have changed the room, so we have two of them now. Like, a good mattress. I've come to realize a good mattress make a huge difference in your sleep. So I will never go cheap on a mattress ever again.
I'm going to top you on that one, and I'm a single gentleman, so I can say this. I will never go cheap on a bed frame. You cannot go cheap on a bed frame, especially if you are out. Y'all know why. I'm just gonna cut it right there. You already know why. You just can't do it.
Yeah. See. Now we got a king size bed, and I didn't like none of the frames, so I built my own frame.
That's it.
There you go.
I built my own frame. I took some 2x4s when they was building the houses in my development. I went and talked to the project manager. I was like, yo, can I get some of them 2x4s? He's like, yeah, take as much as you want. And I went to Home Depot, talked to them about told them what I wanted to do, gave them a diagram of what I was trying to put together. Mm-hmm. They told me what screws to get, everything. And because what I don't like with the bed frames is how where the feet are at, it's just those little areas that are pressed down. So I wanted something that was more sturdy and that could handle some rambunctious. So I didn't want something that would sink in the middle and all of that. And I said, I need a sturdy frame. And I sat there and built a whole king size bed frame. And that thing, to this day, you wouldn't even know that it's there because of the skirt around it. Yeah. But man, that thing is solid. I mean, haven't had any problems with it. The bed don't move. None of that stuff. But if you hit your toe on it, you're going to know.
Most definitely.
And I have. So I had to put some foam around the corners and everything. But other than that, yeah. You're right. The bed frame is a good one, man. But I just never liked any of the ones that I saw. I never felt they were sturdy enough. And then I didn't want to spend that much money on them when I figured I could make my own.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, you're right.
Man. That is, it's crazy some of the stuff that you learn over time, man. Look, We all like I know back when I used to have some cheap mattresses, and then I got with my wife. She was like, "Look, we can't do this. Like, I know you want to save, but look, it's where we're gonna sleep on. Like, we need something to support your back. Look, just get a good mattress, guys. Like, I never thought I'd be talking about mattress. Never.
Oh yeah, they're important. Well, I also like my office chair. They got some chairs out there that are designed for you to sit in for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's
now
a
the
good
one chair that I want, that I'm aiming for, it costs $5,000.
Damn.
Yeah, it's called Iron
Does it
Horse.
sing you happy birthday?
Hey.
Does it massage your back or something? What's up with this chair?
Does it come with a special massage?
Man, I want one of those chairs real bad. I mean, it is really nice. But it costs. It costs some money for them
come with
things.
a happy ending.
Right? True story.
Yeah, because they call Iron Horse chairs, and
Sure, I'm looking it up right now.
yeah, they run about $5,000.
Forget it.
They run about $5,000.
I want the full experience. I want a full VR, virtual reality, everything. Just immerse me for $5,000, man.
I'm looking it up right now. That chair looks serious.
You can't get that. Griff,
Yeah.
you can't get that chair. You want to know why?
That chair looks serious.
Nah, you want to know why, Griff? Because you already fall asleep in the chair that you got now. You ain't getting out from that thing.
I know. And I do that, man. I will. Well, see, that's part of the reason why, because a couple of years ago, I was having some esophagus problems and I couldn't lay down flat. So I needed a chair that I could actually sleep in. And I found one, and I tell you, it's called an Osgood. And man, that thing is nice. I can sit in this all day, all night and everything. And then after I had my surgery, I didn't need to sleep in the chair no more. So I could be sitting straight up. But I still like a good chair that I can just sit in for a while. And I'm going to tell you, that's the next move. So people talking about, I ain't doing no signings for $60. Them $60 signings going to get me my chair.
You got that right.
No, that's right.
Not only that, I just look it up for an Iron Horse 510S intensive use heavy duty office chair. It says $9,000. What?
Oh, they done went up a little bit? Oh, okay.
9,000.
Know how I said that? Oh, they just went up a little bit?
Nah, I'm all set. Look. You know what? I'm not even gonna bring this up to my wife because she's probably gonna like, "Well, you do need a new chair at some point." I'm like, we gotta get you something to support, your back, your posture, and everything. But nah, I will pass on that. I will find me some mobile home down in Garland, Texas, somewhere.
For $5,000, you can definitely make it work. Speaking of mobile homes, I cannot buy cheap gas. Like that little place everybody got that little gas station over there, the A-Star gas.
Yep.
Nope, I can't put that gas. No cheap gas in the vehicle.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, man. That's another thing. I didn't think about that. That's another thing I can't go cheap on is gas.
Nah, you can't do that.
I can't go to one of these little hood stores and get the gas from their gas station.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something about that is
like
mom and pop convenience store. Nah.
You're like half.
No, I can go cheap on gas because I'm using a rental car.
I
don't care. Yeah, I put water in there. I'm serious. It be like, I get the car. People like, I've been driving in a Blazer, and they be looking. I'm like,
yeah, Griff.
I just put that cheap gas in there. I'm like, it ain't mine. I'm like, no need to worry about the engine.
Another good thing when you do have some good quality mattresses is invest in a memory foam. Man, you can't go wrong.
I got memory foam.
The memory foam,
yeah,
that's some good sleep, brother. That's some good sleep.
Yeah, man. I got a big king size memory foam, and I love that thing, bro. Like it.
Yeah, and don't go cheap on the memory foam because you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that.
Absolutely,
don't do that.
I think the one we have now, the recent ones, it's a Tempur-Pedic bed, and I'm like, I just be knocked the hell out.
Yeah, man.
I just been knocked out. It's crazy. It's crazy how, some of the stuff that, I know those of us, growing up where we didn't have access to, or we was not taught properly, how when we became adults, we started to realize, this actually make a huge difference. Now you're looking back at then, the mattress you were sleeping on when you was a kid, you're like, no wonder I got back problem now.
Yeah.
Straight up. You were not wrong about that. Same thing with pillows, man. Invest in some pillows. You gotta get you some good pillows. And understand the difference between pillows and their shapes and their firmnesses. They sell, if you're a side sleeper, they sell pillows for that. Like, don't just go buy any pillow, go to Walmart and say, yep, I'm gonna grab this pillow and walk out of here. No, you need to know what you're doing, because you could buy the wrong pillow and completely jack your back up.
Yep. That's crazy. That's crazy how that works, right? Man, I don't know. I think that's it. Then another thing that I can't probably go cheap on, because I do a lot of driving, tires, for my car.
Yeah.
I can't go cheap on those. Like I gotta get some. I gotta get at least 50,000 miles or more. Some good tires.
Definitely.
Especially given the business that we are in now. I just can't do it. I can't go to Jorge pop shop down the street. If I'm getting 4 tires costing me less than $200, we got a problem.
Be like, I might be able to get like 3 months out of these tires, bro.
You had those May pop tires,
right?
Yeah, no, that is true. That's a fact. What's going on, Griff? Griff, you good, man?
Oh yeah, I'm good, man.
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting here chilling, man. I mean, when y'all talk about the car things, I ain't, I'm Mr. Reynolds.
We just want to give a shout out to Griff for actually making this today. Griff's actually been a little under the weather, so I'm real happy that he was feeling well enough to join us. So thank you, Griff, for keeping our
man. We got to support the fellas and everything. So yeah, if y'all my voice sounds a little in and out and all of that, that's all that's been going on, people. So other than that, I'm good. One of the things that I'm also looking at now is security locks on my doors. I stepped up and bought some little bit higher quality ones, as well as the higher quality, deadbolts and all of that. Yeah. Found out that that one of the things that we got to do also on the doors is use the 3-inch nails, or the 3-inch screws instead of the standard 1.5 or 2-inch. Because they go in deeper, and it makes it a lot harder for them people to, pop that thing off of your door frame. So I switched up my door locks and everything over the last couple of months. And if you outside my house and try to come in, you ain't getting in. You are not getting in at all. You can try all you want, but the way I got them little lock things now, shoot, you are not getting in this house whatsoever. So, and all of that. And I messed around and locked my wife out, and I didn't realize it. She left, and I just swung the little latch out of habit. And next thing I know, about an hour later, she comes back. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like, oh, shoot. I was like, uh-oh, too late. So, yeah. But, yeah, when you can find something of quality, that can serve your purpose, I mean, yeah, you just spend the money on it and be happy with it. I mean, I can't say nothing because I got a $12,000 stove in my house. So if y'all look at some of my older videos, that one I did the cooking with about Tabitha Brown seasoning, I think earlier this year or last year, I was showing it's like I mean, if I spent $12,000 on the stove, I'm going to spend $50 on the iron.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you on that one, man.
No choice.
Another thing I can't go cheap on is because I love to cook, I love to grill. Is seasoning. It's got to be with my seasoning salt that I use. It's got to be Lowry's.
Oh yeah.
I can't use anything else. I mean, even though I do use a lot of different concoctions of different things, but that's one thing that I cannot go cheap on is the seasoning for my food.
Sure.
I'm with you on that one. Have you ever heard of Dale's? It's a marinade. I don't even like marinades all like that. Like, I'm more of a dry rub person. But there's this thing called Dale's. It's a marinade. It's almost like the color of Coca-Cola. Man, you let your meat sit in that thing for, bro. Just order it. Just order it. Just
good, huh?
Just order it and try it out, man. It's priced right. I highly encourage you to soak chicken, pork, beef, don't matter what it is. Try it out.
Is it D-A-L-E or D-E-L-L like the computer Dell?
Dale, D-A-L-E.
Yep, I just pulled it up right now. They got it on Amazon, Walmart. They have it about a gallon.
Yeah, man. That stuff is serious, bro.
Yo, just get the gallon. That's perfect for you down there in Texas, man. You know everything.
Probably, that'll work.
Sure, you know.
Oh, well then if that's the case, man, you know, y'all on the podcast can't see this, but I'm about to show Gannon something.
Oh man.
And I think you know what I'm about to show. You talking about cooking. You know what I'm about to show.
You about to pull the knife out?
Yo, yeah, I'm about to show that knife, man. No. Yo, Gannon, if you're gonna cook since you're a butcher, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Master Coup G4.
Master Coup G4.
Look, man.
Wait, did the price come down?
Nah, it's $149.
What was the one that you were showing me? I think it was the bigger one.
Well, it was a smaller one. The G3 was $89.
Yeah, it was a smaller one.
Yeah, but this thing here, man, if you look at any videos about them cutting tuna and swordfish and stuff, they use these knives here. Man, them things, they cut right through bone, all of that. Now, it takes a little bit effort to sharpen them because of the angle that the blade is. But, man, and there's a guy, you can send it to him and he'll sharpen them for you. But man, I mean, they got the RC 61 hardness, good solid blade. And they call them, you know, Taiwan tuna chef knives. You talking about something that'll slice up some stuff, and they even bigger than this. They got them even bigger, man. But that's my next thing. That I want one of those knives, even though I don't really have a need for it, but
just in case.
Just in case somebody asks me to slice up something.
Or slice up somebody.
I got it. Shoot.
Oh, man.
I'm serious, man. But yeah, that's a serious knife there, man. I love that knife there. And, yeah, that's my next thing. I'm saving some of them $60 signings up so I can go in and get that one and stuff. So
yeah,
thank y'all for those of you who don't take them orders. Y'all helping me out.
Yeah, that knife is serious, man. That knife is real serious. Gannon, it's pretty cool that you're a butcher. My great grandfather was a butcher in Harlem when they came over from Puerto Rico, and I've only seen pictures of his hands, but he had these big old hands, and from the stories that I've heard that were passed down, like, so what they used to do back then is to kill the cows as they was coming in, he would crack them right in between the eyes. And that's how they used to kill the cows. And so like I saw pictures of his hands. He had these big swollen hands, and his hands were just swollen from years of doing that. This big old fist. So I think that's pretty cool, man. Like I have a special respect for butchers. Like I prefer. Okay, that's the thing. Don't go cheap on meat, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can't buy cheap meat, especially, I don't know if you guys have watched any documentaries out there about where your meat comes from, but man, these people out here, you know, for these big, grocery store chains and everything like that, they will take a cow that has cancer and still sell it to you, and you'll never know it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you'll never know it. So, you know, if you can afford to go shop at a butcher for your meat, go to a butcher to get some meat. Like, I'm fortunate enough where I live not too far away from Lancaster. We got a lot of people out here that do hunting and stuff like that. So a lot of our meat out here, we have that ability to go buy fresh meat. You know, I would highly recommend, and there's just a difference when you're getting fresh meat that's grass fed. There's just a whole difference in the taste of meat that you're getting from animals that are eating the food that they're supposed to be eating.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And that'll be a good topic for the next segment. because that is a trade that is a dying breed, man. We need to normalize, kids, coming out of high school learning trades, because that's a thing that that's a thing of the past. When I was coming up, there were, we had home economics, we had wood shop, auto mechanics. They don't do those things in schools nowadays.
No, they've taken it out of the main schools. So like here in our school district, they have some of those courses, but then they have alternative high schools that they don't tell people about unless you're like in the know, where they have technical high schools around here that the kids from the district can go to. But if you're not told that exists, you would never know. And I think a lot of kids
never know.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids in our district, a lot of the kids that are coming out of the high school here, there's not a high college, graduation to college ratio. But they're also, like you're saying, they're not giving them an opportunity to get those skills to go out there and come out of school and be able to go off on a path to have a career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's be honest. A lot of kids don't, college is not for everybody. Nobody wants to go to a 4-year university just to come out of school, just to come out of college and be in $125,000 worth of debt.
Yep.
Or whatever the astronomical number is, but it's crazy. I feel like the system is set up to fail you. You go to school for all these years and you have to end up getting these loans to go to school just to come out to apply for a job where they tell you, oh, well, we're looking for someone with experience. Well, how am I supposed to gain experience if I'm never given an opportunity to work for anyone to where I can get the necessary skills that I need to have the experience that someone's going to want to hire me for?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a problem for a lot of kids. My kid's older brother, he just graduated from high school this year, and he's kind of lost. It doesn't matter how much I try to help him. He's lost because at the end of the day, even if you go to college, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a job. And how many millions of kids are graduating, not even kids, adults are graduating to every year with business degrees. Where's the job market for them? Every year you have millions of kids that are graduating with the same type of degrees, but there's only so many jobs that are available. And those jobs that are available, they don't want to pay, but they want experience. Right? So then you got the mid-level guy that's got experience that is getting underpaid. You've got the college student that hasn't really made any money before, but they're not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like, that'll be another topic for us to talk about. The next
definitely.
one.
Especially, let me see. I went through, because I have a 4-year degree and whatnot. Because I remember when after I graduated, luckily for me, I guess I was able to find a job within my field, because I have a degree in criminal justice and psychology and stuff like that. But I know people who have that 4-year degree that couldn't find work. Pretty much the same thing that you guys are saying. They didn't have the experience, or if they find work, it was like minimum wage. I feel like that's another thing. It's like, I'm gonna get a 4-year degree to come out and make minimum wage, and I should have never went to school.
No, You're right. I mean, myself, I went to college for a semester and I had no idea what I was going to do. So I left school. And a couple months after that, I went and I went to a school to learn networking, not like networking. Hey, how you doing? But on the engineer side, on the IT side. And it took me probably 6.5 to 7 months, to get through getting my CCNA and my CCNP. And I started working on my CCIE. I think this is CCIE, right, Griff? After the CCNP? Do you remember that from Cisco?
Yeah.
So I started working on that, but within, 6.5, 7 months after completing that coursework, which it should have taken me a lot longer than that, I just was very motivated and focused. I was able to come out of that making $30 an hour. And had I been, told that was a road that I could have gone down, I would have never have wasted the money that I did for that semester of college that I went to. There was no reason for it. So here I am with a semester of college, which I ended up going into, being a network engineer, was a tier 2 network engineer, which led me down a road into software implementation, which led me to being a clinical informaticist, all without having a college degree. There's ways to be successful. There are ways to be successful in corporate America. There's different routes to get there. They're just not really educating these kids on these routes that are available.
Absolutely right. Remember, there's always a loophole in this world to eat. You don't have to work a traditional 9 to 5 to make money in this world, because technically it was never designed. This world was never designed for us to work a 9 to 5 and to work the way that we have to do in this day and age just to survive, to keep a roof over your head.
Right. This is a system.
Hey, things change. And, I when I became a butcher, I stayed a butcher for about 10, 11 years or so, and I got that trade under my belt. And, I can pretty much run my own meat shop right now if I wanted to, if I needed to go back down that road and do that. But that's just something I don't choose to do anymore. But it did lead me in the right direction to have a trade under my belt. That unfortunately, like I said, it's a dying breed now, because you can't just go to too many places where you can go to a butcher shop and get your meat cut on demand the way that you want it cut, specific cuts, specialty cuts of different types of meat, fish, or whatever.
Right.
But like I say, they need to normalize, these kids coming out of high school, and learning a trade, learning to work with their hands and, just being hands-on, because I went to a technical school myself when I graduated high school some odd years ago. But yeah,
I'm sure the Cowboys were winning then.
I went to a trade school. We ain't gonna talk about the Cowboys and leave your Eagles alone too. But I went to a trade school which is now shut down. I went to school to be an architect. I was so fascinated, with building structures, the way things were built, and how things were built, and just everything from the ground up. I was fascinated with big buildings, small buildings, houses, construction work, and unfortunately, I left because I wasn't obtaining the knowledge that I needed to be successful. The professors. A lot of us that went to that trade school, unfortunately, a lot of us were not passing the courses because the things that the professors were teaching. And when it came down to it, that school ended up getting shut down nationwide.
Wow.
Nationwide.
Did y'all get a $10,000 debt relief? No.
Sure, you might be able to.
Well, I had started paying my student loans back. And the good thing about it, I ended up, paying it off to where, it doesn't hinder me now at this day in my, this point in my life, which is a good thing. And with that school being closed down, that's another closed chapter in the history books. I don't even look back on it anymore.
It'd be like that, man.
It is.
Definitely.
And after that, I became a USPS postal worker. I went postal, like they say.
Oh. Wait,
postal, became a mail carrier.
Were you on foot or did you get the?
Oh yeah,
you were on foot.
Man, on foot. Yeah, on foot.
What about the dogs?
Yeah, definitely.
What about the dogs? How did you carry mace?
Oh yeah, I had the little dog sprays. They say it's tobacco spray. I used to have some of my coworkers that would joke with me about that. Man, you know what all that is Tabasco sauce, right? The dogs lick it and they still charge at you. I was like, what? When I first got started, but I tried it. I tried and I sprayed a dog. Man, I had one dog approach me. I was like, man, I'm not afraid of dogs. I grew up around dogs. My cousins, I had cousins that raised pit bulls, still raise them to this day. And I had some dogs when I was a kid. Those were the last dogs I had. They jumped the fence and they never came back home.
Oh, man.
So those are the last dogs I had, man, as a kid. But yeah, I actually had a dog stop me in my tracks, man. I sprayed him with the dog spray. I'm talking about I laid on that thing. I sprayed him down, man, real good. And he got to licking his chops. I was like, uh-oh. I said, I might be in trouble. But luckily he started, rubbing his face in the grass and flipping all over every which way, and he left me alone. I was able to finish that block and get back to my mail truck, man.
That's
But
crazy.
I had a coworker that got bit by a dog. I mean, everybody's experience is going to be different. You just have to keep your head on the swivel. You have to be like a cornerback. You got to keep your head on the swivel at all times when you're on the street delivering mail, because you just never know. Every day is going to be different. You never know what you're going to encounter.
Let me ask you, what's the policy for mail carriers when it comes to things like dogs? Are they like, avoid at all costs, blah, blah, blah? Or, if you're in a situation, you got to protect yourself and you kick the hell out of a dog in the head, like, are you going to get fired for that?
No, I mean, but that is one thing that they say: protect yourself at all times. Don't run from a dog, or you start running from a dog, you get hurt, trip over something, or break your ankle or fracture some bone in your body. They say it's a preventable accident, is what they call it. Gotcha. They say it's I'm like, how's it a preventable accident if I'm trying to run to safety, if I'm trying to get away from this dog? And their term of protecting yourself is putting your mail bag in between you and the dog. Okay, well, this dog, can probably still bite through this bag and still bite me if I got this bag, and this dog is locking down on this mail bag and shaking this mail bag uncontrollably. He's going to try to find a way to still come at me. Yeah. So this mail bag is not going to protect me from this dog that's, aggressive and trying to attack the mailman.
So, wait a second. That presents another problem. If they're telling you to put the bag between you and the dog, now, if the dog rips that bag open, rips through some mail, is that not tampering with the mail? That's a federal offense.
Well, technically, you got the mail in your hand. So the only thing that's really in your bag or, like sales papers and some packages, whatever packages, can fit in your mail bag, but at any given point, at any given time, that mail bag can weigh anywhere in excess from 25 to 50 to 65 pounds, depending on what you have to carry for that particular street that you're delivering on. So, in a sense where, if you've got something that's too heavy, you got to leave a notice in their mailbox for them to come to the post office and pick it up. Cause, you're not going to take out a 250-pound box and try and deliver it yourself or walk up to somebody's porch. That's just something that I'm not going to do.
Oh, yeah, they don't pay you enough for that.
Yeah. The benefits and the money is good, but at the same time, protect yourself at all times. If anybody out there is listening to our podcast that may be mail carriers in this world, protect yourself at all times and do what's right to prevent any dog bites.
Yeah, Notaries Unsealed, we support USPS. Okay? We support y'all. That is the right thing, right? USPS? Yeah, United States Postal Service.
USPS.
Yeah.
USPS.
We support the postal carriers.
I've been in the game quite a while now.
Oh, yeah.
We support we support the postal carriers. One of the things that I like to do if I ever see my guy out there is, if it's real hot, I'll take him something cold to drink. You know what I mean? If I know he's coming around the block, bring him out a cup of cold bottle of water or something like that. Cause, those guys, listen, rain, snow, tornado, don't even matter. They show up every day. So, appreciate your mailman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rain, sleet, or snow, that mail gotta go.
Yeah, they take care of it and, they help commerce, continue.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, gentlemen, I think we've come to a point. We've mentioned some things that we can't go cheap on. I hope that for you guys that are sitting here listening, if you were able to come up with a couple of things that we may have missed, please feel free, if you're on Spotify, to leave us a comment on Spotify. I will be uploading a question with this, so please feel free to chime in, and we will mention it on the next episode that we record. So we do check that, and we'll definitely give you guys a shout out for using that feature if you were listening to Spotify. But other than that, I think this is another great podcast that we're wrapping up here.
Oh yeah, everything was good.
Absolutely. Hey, glad to be a part of it, man. Appreciate the invite. It was much appreciated, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you, Gannon, and you know, I'm excited to get you on more shows. If you would like to continue to come back, I think this has been a great show, and the audience is going to like you.
Definitely. Just let me know, man. I'm there. Just let me know.
And let them know where you're from again. The only notary I know down in Garland, Texas.
That's right, Garland, Texas. That's right, just northeast of Dallas, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks.
That's it.
And the Dallas Stars.
Well, I like the Mavericks.
And
I like
the Texas Rangers.
You know, those Cowgirls down there. You know, we'll see you twice this year, so I'm sure on more podcasts, you know, when it comes to that time of the season, we'll probably have you on here so I can trash talk you a little bit, or you can trash talk me. It is what it is. You know.
You know that's going to happen.
You know how it goes.
You know, I talked about that with you on my live one day on IG. Yeah, you know that's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But guys, hey, I'm glad that we can make this work today. Griff, feel better. Gannon, again, I appreciate you, bro. You're doing an amazing job out here. You've become a great resource for notaries. I'm glad to see that people are starting to respond to the stuff that you're putting out there on social media. Man, keep it up, and I can't wait to see what else you got going on. Mathurin, my man, we'll talk soon, all right, man? So,
all right, that sounds good.
That's it for Notaries Unsealed, guys. Hey, I appreciate every single one of you that are listening. Love your life, love your business, and love yourself. All right, guys. Peace.
Here we go. Took the game over. We home now. We soldiers. Griff, Mathurin, and Q, the podcast. You can't hold us. Y'all heard the word. Y'all heard the word. Griff, Mathurin, and Q. Yeah, we on the verse. So diverse with no rehearse. That's how we work. Authentic when we give it. If we said it, then we meant it. Not to be confused with other people's views. They get it how they get it, and we get it how we do. Look, homie, this a whole different game. We got a whole different name. We in a whole different lane. Yeah. We Notaries Unsealed. This my everyday life. We Notaries Unsealed. Every day I hustle out here living it right. We Notaries Unsealed. Put the stamp down and step in front of the mic. Took the game over. We home now. We soldiers. Griff, Mathurin, and Q, the podcast. You can't hold us.